Hi guys, I'm Mark, and I want to share a favorite pastime of mine. It's pretty recent actually, so it's not really a pastime, but this is something I did a lot of to kind of realize things about myself. I got pushed in the direction of being autistic due to Quora. I researched other things, but Quora is good for personal experiences. That is, somebody went through something and they phrased something that's very similar to what you went through. Maybe not in the same words, but when you read the thing that the person went through, it resonates, and you're like, okay, other people do think like me. I'm talking about autism. So, I'm going to read a couple passages from Quora right now. What am I going to read? Something about what benefits do people with autism have. Why? Well, because it's simple to do, low-hanging fruit, and oftentimes I do find little hidden gems in these little prompts. Things that I like to repeat myself because people phrase things in different ways than I would originally, but after they say it out loud, I oftentimes like how other people see things. People who are on the spectrum but think slightly different than myself. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to try to read through this as much as I can without stopping too much, but I want to comment on things as I go. So let's just try that right now. Let's see how long this takes. So this first person says, in response to what are benefits of being autistic, actually being able to think outside the box. Already, yeah. I mean, we just think differently. Now, thinking outside the box, they say neurotypicals mostly can't. I would agree to an extent. See, what I've realized with neurotypical people, they tend to behave as everyone else behaves. That's how they justify their behaviors. Well, everyone else is doing it, so that means it's right. Well, that is the definition of thinking in the box. A lot of neurotypicals think that way, not all. I've known many out-of-the-box neurotypical people, but yeah, I kind of agree with that. We tend to not like neurotypicals very much, too. That's a little bit of that there, so I'm probably talking too much. We're 2 sentences in. So what do they say next? When they even approach something, they didn't refer to what it means, but approach a problem, they are lauded for radical thinking. So whenever they approach whenever they approach out of the box thinking, people are like, oh, good job for thinking differently. While when we do it, we're just shunned and ostracized for being different than everyone else. So seems a little unfair. This person's saying that the things that they point out seems very logical to them. I think, why yes, those two things do go together. Why has no one thought of this before? So this out-of-the-box thinking for neurotypicals is just obvious for us. I would say to some degree I agree with that. There's been many times where I see an obvious solution, people just ignore me. And then the solution ends up popping out that I said. And I'm like, well, what the heck? Why didn't you guys listen to me? And they just tell me a lot of times, well, there's no way you could have known that. And I'm like, ugh, I did know it, and I did see it, but okay. Alright, fine. So I kind of maybe inserted too much about myself in there, but already in this first paragraph, I kind of agree with a lot of the things this person's saying. Alright, I'll try not to spend as long on this next paragraph. I'm really good at spotting patterns as well. Oh, well, I like patterns. This is a well-known fact about autistic people. You can give me 12-digit numbers and I can find it in a list of hundreds far quicker than the vast majority of other people. Sure. I can also remember that number perfectly, often for years after I've seen it. I can still recall cell phone numbers I haven't used in years. Yeah, me too. This is very similar to me in a lot of ways. People used to always be surprised how many numbers I knew growing up because cell phones weren't as much of a thing when I was a kid. You just have to memorize who you wanted to call. You'd have a list of numbers you knew. I knew a lot of numbers for basically compared to everyone I knew. Anyways, whoops. Which helps remember other numbers really easy because they have a similar pattern. Honestly, I see a little bit of exaggeration here, maybe. I don't know the guy. But I agree we have a better than average memory, especially for those things we're interested in. If you're interested in numbers, you're going to remember numbers better. There's actually a lot of weird gifts some people have. They don't even remember a number as a neurotypical would. When they add 2 numbers together, their brain does some weird geometry stuff, like spaghetti of different colors mixes together, and the color that they mix into is the sum of the numbers. There's a lot of weird things, little weird gifts autistic people can have. Very different. It's out-of-the-box thinking in a lot of ways. It's just very different. Very, very different. But I agree to an extent. Yeah, we're good at our special interests, and a lot of times that makes us good at things like pattern recognition, stuff like that. Alright, next. When I hear things, I also see colors. Alright, Maybe. Synesthesia, why are you saying this? This isn't autism. Maybe autistic people will have a higher likelihood of synesthesia because we have a huge sensitivity. A lot you can actually look at the number of synapses per neuron in a autistic brain, and there's more synapses. That has to do with the sensitivity. Maybe regions of the brain can communicate easier in an autistic person to give you synesthesia. I think this person maybe is trying to come across as a special snowflake a little too much here, but whatever. I'll believe them. They can see colors. They have synesthesia as well as autism. Pretty rare. If someone said to me, "Imagine a brick," I'd know everything about it. This seems a little bit like bragging. It would be part of a wall or some paving. There would be a house, a garden, possibly. It could be one random one that's fallen from a pile. So they have a lot of attention to detail, they're saying. I don't think I'm going to read the rest of this. It seems a little bit like flexing. When I'm nervous, I look excited. When I'm excited, I look nervous. It's great for smoke. I think I look nervous for both of these, by the way. When I'm nervous, I might look nervous. And when I'm excited, I think I might look nervous. I don't know. Anyways, it's great for smuggling things through customs. Wow, we got a criminal here. Only joking, of course. Okay, that's fine. It has its advantages, though. Yeah, I kind of agree with these first two paragraphs. These other two kind of went off the rails a little bit. So, that'll happen. Let's go ahead and go to the next one. I wonder how long I've been going. I've been rambling on a little bit. Yeah, let's go with this. This is organized. I won't go through all of them, but this one already started to look a little bit better. I'm going to use my own personal experience to help answer this question. Great. Okay, they preface it with that. Attention to detail. Kind of similar to what I pointed out before. This proves to be very beneficial when it comes to things such as chemistry labs where I might have to take precise measurements. Sure. Accepting differences. Yeah. Yes. We always have the short end of the stick here, and we know we're different. I can just say that in elementary school, I was friends with everyone. I didn't understand it when I was walking on the playground, and somebody was like, "Whoa, Mark, you're popular. Why are you hanging out with that loser?" And I'm like, huh? Like, that happened to me, and I didn't understand it. I just thought this person was my friend. I would sit down at a table of people. Like, people were my friends there. That's how I saw them, as people. And the people at the table would be like, literally have a vote. Who at this table is popular except for Mark? And I'm like, what the heck? So, I wasn't always popular, but I'm just drawing from that right now. When I was popular, I was friendly to basically everyone. So I accepted differences. I saw the differences, but, I accepted them. So I don't know. I guess I'm relating to this prompt a lot more than the previous one. Seems a little bit more genuine to me as well. So I think I'm just going to get through, autistic people are more accepting. Sometimes above average IQ. This is a little bit off. Autistic people seem to have a bimodal distribution where there's a peak around 115 IQ and a peak around 85, average being 100. So there's less autistic individuals who are average IQ. Now, there could be a lot of confounding variables there, but many times when you see somebody with profoundly high IQ, they're autistic. A lot of times, and that has to do with the pattern recognition. I can't say recognition. Whatever. Language isn't my thing. Patterns are. So there you go. Strong affective empathy. So I do think this is actually more common than we realize in autistic people. I can easily pick up the emotions that others are feeling, even though I might not know how to deal with them. I really relate to that. When my mom gets frustrated, so do I. I really relate to that last one. I think that we have sensitivities with, let's say, sound, sight, stuff like that. I think empathy can be one of your sensitivities, and having a strong sense of emotional empathy, but not cognitive, which makes things like feeling somebody's not happy with you. Okay, I know it's a thing, but what do I do about it? I don't have that cognitive empathy like most people do. So I think that is something. I've noticed that people don't think I pick up things that I do pick up, and I always just thought maybe other people underestimate everyone, but then I thought about it longer, I'm like, maybe some people just don't pick up much from other people, and so they assume no one does. Basically, I feel this one, and I feel like I do have a strong affective empathy in the sense of emotionally I can pick up when someone's not happy with me, when somebody feels awkward around me, so on and so forth. But my cognitive empathy is lacking, so it's hard to align myself a lot of times. Okay, great passion for special interests. We kind of already talked about this, but this is a real gift. This is a superpower right here. While harmful organizations such as Autism Speaks discourages autistic people from pursuing their special interests on the basis that they are meaningless, special interests can prove to be beneficial in some cases. I mean, one of my special interests was math and physics. Video games as well. I guess I could have done something with video games. So yeah, no, I've played a lot of video games way too long that are useless in a lot of ways. I got obsessed with games no one plays because I find them fun, and that's all that matters to me. But if I would have played something like League of Legends, I could have maybe went competitive. I can just say I've always been good at video games. Video games is one of my special interests, and it's always been a hobby. A hobby that I maybe have spent too much time on, but I digress. I think there's some positives there, even if you don't become competitive with video gaming. Anyways, for example, one of my special interests is autism. I think a lot of autistic people's special interests become autism when you get diagnosed. Strangely enough. Which is why I'm answering this right now. Yeah, makes sense. That's why I'm reading it right now, friends. Okay. I really like the idea of positive autistic advocacy and might end up doing something for that cause someday. I relate to this person. I could probably help other autistic people with advocacy and other actions. Alright. Alright. I like this post a lot more than the previous one. They're not really flaunting. You might say that's a little self-righteous, but, I think they've said some nice things so far, so I think they can do what they're trying to say they want to do, be an advocate for autism and awareness. Ability to love people so strongly, at least for me. I'm expanding my previous point into a more general statement. I love my friends and family dearly and would miss them if I were separated from them. Yeah, me too. I've actually had that last one come, and yeah, it's come back on me, being too giving to certain people who didn't really deserve it. This basically sums it up using my experience. Thanks for listening. Yeah, those are all beautiful things overall. I would say that I like this post more than the previous one. Now, we can keep going. I think I'm just gonna cut it there. It's... Yeah, okay, I don't have this. I'm too poor for the Quora Plus subscriber. You can read these all day. You can read these all day. Some of them are better than others. I think we just demonstrated that, but yeah, I think I might do this more. Just read things online and report back on them, because I like doing this. It's a low-hanging fruit, and honestly, I don't know if everyone knows about this, but sometimes it just helps. It helps when you're going through something and feel like you're the only one doing that thing, only person on this planet going through the thing you're doing. It just helps having somebody else understand where you're coming from.